Hey guys, I'm Anna. Most people watching this probably know that, but it's me. And I just wanted to make a video for National Eating Disorders Awareness Week. I'm very nervous and scared to make this video. I feel very weird talking in front of just a camera. But eating disorders grow and fester in silence. So I think it's important to talk about them and to put words to them. So bear with me while I attempt to do that. I just wanted to touch on a couple of things in this video, and the first one being preconceived notions about eating disorders. I know I had them, for sure, in such a way that I was like, there's no possible way that I have one, because to me, how it was always presented and how it is like scarily presented in almost all like textbooks and even just like books about growing up or whatever, is that eating disorders typically, when you picture it, would be a very malnourished 16-year-old girl who only eats celery. That is like what we're told an eating disorder is. That's so false. It is so not true. And eating disorders can affect anyone of any gender, any age, any size. Like, unfortunately, they're super pervasive, and it's not just, whatever, an adolescent girl. That is a group that also totally suffers from eating disorders as well, but it's not the only group. And it's actually really, really harmful that is what we're told and the narrative that we're fed, because it discredits a lot of people's experiences, and it is pervasive in the medical community and mental health community, where people who need treatment are actually not being recommended to treatment or even being like validated in having an eating disorder because they don't look like they have one, or they don't follow this criteria that, has been put out there. And that's really messed up. Everyone's experience is very personal. And, I eat a cookie every morning. I still eat a cookie every morning and ended up in residential treatment. It's not necessarily about only eating certain food groups or being underweight or being a certain BMI or whatever. You can be struggling at any size with like any diet. The obsessive nature of it and the like overwhelming nature of eating disorders is what's more important than what you look like. And the limiting of accessibility to treatment and resources because of that is unreal and is really messed up. So people need to know that you could be in a room with 30 people. I don't know. I doubt that you could pick out who has an eating disorder. It's not something that you can just look at someone and know right away. For a lot of people, it's a really hidden and secretive thing. And it's based on so much more than just losing weight. Like, eating disorders stem from so many different things, such as trauma, life experiences, like your family, yourself, genetics. And there's this, it gets boiled down to, oftentimes what I hear is like, it's just vain people who want to be skinny and they want to look like a model, so whatever, like it's on them for being so obsessed with themselves. And for most people, the weight part is an aspect of it, but for a lot of people, the eating disorder is numbing and it's like a comfort, and it's a coping mechanism. Similar to substance use, or other behaviors or addictions. It's not just about the weight. It's not just about the body. It's not just about the food. It's about a hell of a lot more than that. And that's something that is important for people to kind of take in and remember and move toward more compassion and empathy because of that. And treatment is a huge piece of a lot of people's recovery in getting through their eating disorders, but I also want to bring up that treatment is not accessible to everyone. For myself, I'm very, very lucky that I had a family who was able to support me financially while I was in treatment, a job that I could leave. I don't have kids, so I don't have a family I have to take care of. Like, it's just myself. And that I live 10 minutes from an eating disorder treatment clinic, and my insurance covered it. Those are a lot of things I have working in my favor, and that I had medical professionals who believed me, or who even beyond believed me, pushed me to go when I wouldn't even believe that I needed treatment. So we need to recognize too that that is a privilege to have access to treatment, because there's a lot of people who need treatment who can't get it. Yeah, I just think that's a big one to remember, because, you know, I see so much of this, like, if you're struggling, reach out for help. And yes, reach out as much as you can. And also let's remember too that there are people who don't have places to reach out to, which is why I think it's so important to be supporting NEDA and, you know, whatever resources, especially ones that can help communities that maybe don't have access. Yeah, so that's a big one. And then recovery is really hard. It's really hard. And I think that a lot of people think, like, oh, okay, you go to treatment, you do some work, and then, ta-da, you're cured. Congratulations. Like, you can go back into the world, and maybe someday you might have a hard time eating lunch, but you're fine, you know, like, sure, you'll struggle a little bit, but you'll be okay. Like, you're out. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. Recovery isn't linear, which is both a comforting statement and a really annoying statement. I don't have a whiteboard or anything to draw on, but whatever. When I was in treatment, they would always draw, this is what people think recovery looks like, and it's, you know, a diagonal line. And it's like, this is what recovery actually looks like. You know, up, down, backwards, forwards, trying something new, trying something old, you know, like whatever. And that's super frustrating after a while. After a while, you're like, God damn it, I just want to either be in the eating disorder or be in recovery. I'm like so sick of the in-between, and I just want to honor the in-between. And I want to honor all aspects of it, but the in-between, and then even when you're like in recovery, it can still be hard. And that's an important thing for supports of people who are struggling with an eating disorder or going through recovery. It can still be hard. Someone can be in recovery and still be having a very hard time. And that's why it's important to not make assumptions, and it's important to remember, like, to be careful with what words you use, and not necessarily saying, like, oh my God, you look so healthy, or you look so much better, or you look great, or, you know, whatever it might be. To just be aware that those things can get internalized, even if someone is in recovery. That can still be taken as like, oh my God, I look different than I looked when I was sick, or, you know, whatever. or even like, you seem like you're doing so well. Sometimes that's nice to hear, but also remember to check in and be like, how are you doing? Because some people aren't always doing well in recovery. So that's a big one, is that no matter how far along someone is in their recovery journey, to honor that there is still a struggle and to empathize and have compassion and respect for that. And I wish I had like a really like great way to close this video and like fireworks and like, yay, recovery and screw eating disorders and here are some words of wisdom, but I don't have that and I have to go to work. So I think I'm just going to end it on eating disorders suck. Preconceived notions about eating disorders suck. Expectations of eating disorders and expectations about recovery and expectations in general suck. And by no means can I be like, I'm perfectly recovered and I'm a guru and have nirvana about recovery. But I can tell you that it does get better. And that's not even always comforting to hear, because I've had people tell me that and I'm like, well, I don't want it to get better, but things can start to hurt less and new things can start to enter that space. Better things. And there will still be struggle. There will still be hard times, but it will be better. And yeah. And I'm sure that I will look at this video after I've recorded it and think of 1,000 things that I want to add to it, and think of 1,000 critiques of things that I have said in this video. But I don't know how to do all that fancy editing stuff where you cut things and paste things and whatever. So you're getting the raw stream of consciousness, and I appreciate that you've made it this far and listened to what I had to say. And yeah, just keep trucking, keep trying. It's hard. And it gets better. There's a dialectic for anyone who's been in DBT therapy. Alright. I'm going to head out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And if you ever have any questions, I don't promise to know every answer. And I don't promise that I can speak. Well, I actually can tell you for certain that I do not speak for everyone who has an eating disorder. At all. Like, there are people who have very different experiences than me. But I can try to answer your questions. So always feel free to message me or ask me in person. It's something that I'm actually ready to talk about and happy to talk about. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Bye.